Good. Good. I'm surprised you remember how to use the thing since you almost never have it on camera.
Ivan, it's like riding a bike. After a while, the sword flows naturally.
Huh. Your father used to say the same thing. Must run in the bloodline.
You're actually making me wonder something, Ivan. Do I really have to kill Necros? I mean, yes, he's an evil overlord, but he's still my brother. Shouldn't I be trying to create a happy family or something?
Arthur, that's not how the Knowledge Clan works. Ever since your ancestors first founded the Order, they've had a rule for determining Grand Master.
Which was...
The offspring of each generation must fight each other for supremacy, and ultimately, there can be only one Grand Master.
So I have to kill Archon Necros, or Caesar Knowledge, or whatever you want to call it in this stupid show, to assert my role as the Alpha Son?
That's pretty much the gist of it.
A great battle for sibling supremacy. Bitchin'!
I thought you'd say that. I also thought that exposition would put your guard down. Ha! Some Grandmaster you turned out to be, Arthur. You couldn't defend yourself against an easy ruse.
I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Ugh. Well played, Arthur. Well played.
I am Arthur Knowledge, destined to be Grand Master of the Paladins of Hope. Along with my mentor, Ivan Galarian, we review geek classics in a strange attempt to stem the tide against the Geekron Empire and Archon Necros. Is this confusing? Sounding like a bad fanfic? Yeah, it probably is. But still, tune in for the fun ride in The Quest for Geekdom. Hey guys, I'm Arthur Knowledge.
And I'm Ivan Galarian.
Welcome to The Quest for Geekdom. There's a sad fate where so many great geek movies get tainted when there's a horrible sequel.
And there's one classic that has been so marred by terrible sequels and spin-offs that kids these days see it as nothing more than a joke.
Such is the fate of Highlander. So many people think of such crap when Highlander is mentioned because of sequels and spin-offs and a lot of shit that shouldn't have ever been created. But then they forget that the original Highlander kicked so much ass! It's a classic, cheesy, fantasy-esque action flick that embodies all that shit we love about something so stupidly awesome you gotta love it.
A battle between immortal swordsmen to gain ultimate power. If this concept doesn't intrigue you, then there is something seriously wrong with you. This movie kicks so much ass purely because it's cheesy, it's fun, and it's amazing once you get rid of all those extra movies and stuff that we'll pretend just didn't exist. Arthur, do you feel the stag?
I have the power! Sorry. This is Highlander, folks. First off, there's the plot. Everything centers around Connor MacLeod, the Highlander. The movie is about his journey through the centuries to become the ultimate god? Warrior? It's never made too clear. But essentially it's him fighting people and cutting off their heads to not only win the prize, but avenge the death of his mentor Ramirez, who incidentally is Sean Connery in perhaps the second strangest role he's ever been in behind Zardoz.
I cannot swim, you Spanish peacock.
I'm not Spanish, I'm Egyptian.
You said you were from Spain.
I mean, think about this, folks. This is pure, as our friend Count Jacula has dubbed it, gooder fodder. It has all the makings of a cheesy, awesome action flick that will just leave you loving every second of it. Oh, and we almost forgot. The soundtrack is done by some little unknown band you probably never heard of called motherfucking Queen.
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe.
Seriously, this is just something so incredibly awesome.
Arthur, we have reached Winlightenment.
The second point worth mentioning is just about every character is insanely over the top. Christopher Lambert as Connor might be what his emotions were like before Mortal Kombat sucked it out of him. But Sean Connery as Ramirez is one of the people who really steals the show. I mean, his outfit alone is the stuff that only exists in the most bizarre, far corners of a Renaissance fair. But then look at how he acts.
Why does the sun come up? Or are the stars just pinholes in the curtain of night? Who knows?
The other person who steals this show is Clancy Brown as our main bad guy, the Kurgan. I mean, this guy is just a hoot. He's not just a badass who'll rip your guts out, but Brown is just chewing the scenery every chance he gets. It's very rare you get such a wonderful ham as this. I mean, this scene should tell you everything you need to know.
Mom.
Fun fact, Clancy Brown would later go into voice acting, voicing SpongeBob SquarePants' Mr. Krabs.
Imagine that thought if you will. This guy is the voice of the lovable owner of the Krusty Krab.
I took his head and raped his woman before his blood was even cold.
Enjoy that ruined childhood, guys.
We are so not sorry.
And now it's time for that discussion we knew we'd have to talk about. The franchising of Highlander. Personally, this has to be one of the most insane ideas I've ever heard. Highlander works well as a standalone because at the end of the movie, the story is pretty much done. It's a self-contained, decently crafted narrative that can stand on its own as something awesome.
Then what happens is they decide to add in unnecessary exposition, complicate a simple story with additional characters, and all for a quick cash grab. With only the first Highlander movie as reference, none of the other sequels, TV shows, or anything else makes sense. It's like they're trying to create a comic book universe when there just wasn't the basis for it to begin with, and it just cheapens the original story and drags the name through the muck.
They created all this new stuff just because they could. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. I could kill Ivan. That doesn't mean I should do it.
That's right. Wait. You couldn't kill me if you tried.
I could.
No, you couldn't.
Yaha.
Nuh-uh.
Yaha. 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 In all seriousness, Highlander is an amazing movie that really has become an underrated classic due to its sequels. It's actually really awesome, and yet doesn't quite get the love it should as an awesome, gooder movie. Check it out because this movie definitely deserves some love.
Rarely do we defend a movie in this particular way, but Highlander really has fallen under a lot of bad luck because of being connected to these shitty sequels. It's a way better movie than the rest of the sequels, and actually something I recommend all fans of cheesy action and gooder flicks see, because it definitely isn't as bad as people assume it is.
I'm Arthur Knowledge.
And I'm Ivan Galarian.
Join us next time on the Quest for Geekdom. So, you want to try again, Master?
Stop with the master bullshit. You know I hate it.
Face it, that day will come when I am the Grand Master, and that day is fast approaching. I am now more powerful than you!
Come now, Arthur. You don't think I'd really come at you with just magic.
God damn it!
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. Here we belong, fighting to survive in a war with the darkest power.
That means... Oh! He can't be dead!
Have you ever wondered where bad movies come from?
Cut! I pooped myself. Let's move on.